Twilight Gets a Puppy. By TDR. Chapter 94. Pack of 1. Epilogue. The next day. Ross, are you up there? Cadence called out, looking up into one of the apple trees near the main house. Luna and I are here to check up on you. Woof, said another tree further along the row. No, we will not go away, thou has a doctor's appointment this day. Luna fussed. Well, I'm glad one of us understands him. Cadence sighed, looking back to the small detachment of the 42nd who had followed them to the farm. The only one Cadence recognized right off was Major Comet Trail, who was current head of what the other guards called the Decaf Brigade. Luna hadn't wanted any guards at all when she came back, but Celestia was rather convincing, and her guards were mostly made up of Thestrals. They were all hoof-picked by Celestia herself. Comet Trail had been in the same basic training class as Shining, in fact. Right, if thou are not coming down, then we shall be coming up. Luna snorted, taking to the air and flying up into the apple tree with a crash. There was a loud slap as two hooves met faces, and looking back, Cadence saw the commander of her guard, Darwin Tulip, and Comet Trail slap their faces with their hooves. Private Lumina, go see if the apples have a ladder we can use. Comet Trail sighed. Private Hardtail, go with her and ask for a sturdy one. Darwin Tulip stated. The orders prompting a earth pony and a unicorn to run off back towards the barn. Does this happen often? Cadence asked. At least twice since I've been promoted. Comet Trail offered. A word of warning to you, princess. Alicorns and trees do not get along well together, too many limbs get in the way, I think. Captain Tulip added. Asterisk. Luna shifted on the tree branch, looking over at Ross. He had put on weight again, though nowhere near as much as he had before. Luna would have called him a little husky for a moon dog if she wanted to be rude. His color had also returned, though Twilight and the others still watched him to make sure he didn't eat too much. Luckily there were no apples he could snatch in winter, and he wasn't up to any hunting yet, it seemed. His arm was still bandaged, though it was a new wrap that matched the steel grey coat Rarity had made him as a replacement for the green one that was destroyed. What worried Luna at that moment, however, were the bags under his eyes. Clearly he had not been sleeping. Granted, it didn't take an immortal alicorn to know why, though being the Warden of Dreams for so long helped. We take it you have had your first nightmares. Luna sighed, getting a curious look from Ross. Terrifying images while thou sleep. Perhaps they even wake thee. It is clear thou are not sleeping. Luna frowned. And with thine family being undetectable to us, it is not as if we can even offer aid. Ross simply stared at her for a few more moments before Luna reached out a wing and rubbed his ears. Much was done to thou in a short time with your captors. Luna shook her head. It will likely take time to heal from thine wounds, both mental and physical. Know that those twice you're better have buckled under less. That isn't it. Luna blinked, looking over at Ross as he growled an explanation. All the diamond dogs had done was fight him and continually slice up his arm to draw blood when they had finally bound him. While that was horrible, that was not what bothered him the most out of everything, though it was part of his nightmares. What bothered him the most was, if he couldn't keep himself safe, how was he supposed to protect Twilight and Spike? What if the Bonehounds had come for them? Luna listened as he continued, and she couldn't help but have a small smile. The Sparkles had proven to be a most interesting family. The youngest among them had faced down Nightmare Moon at her worst. The eldest had managed to make a name for himself by destroying things that preyed on ponies. The lone mare in the group of siblings had become the element of magic. And then there was Ross, who had made himself the protector of Twilight and Spike while still a pup after he had been ripped from his home. Out of all of them, Ross had no big success or noted heroics to his name. He had always simply been there. At least he had not yet. Luna had no illusion he wouldn't pull something amazing off at some point simply by being around the others. And the bond of the four. They were all willing to do anything to protect each other. Cadence had actually pointed out that she thought Twilight was going to fight her to go back after Ross, and even Shining got in an argument with her over this incident. Strong magic, inner fire, and skilled training. Right now Ross thought himself the weakest link of the four. That was his biggest issue right now. The pain was fresh in his mind, but the capture and the torture were nothing compared to how he was beating himself up over his perceived failure. A failure that no one else even considered given how the four of them were with each other. All of this came to Luna's mind near instantly as Ross muttered his issues. By the stars, she adored this family. We see. Luna nodded as Ross finished his grumbling. We shall take matters to correct this. For now, thou are going to the doctor. Luna, they have the ladder. Cadence called from below. Why would we need a ladder? We have wings. Luna called down. Oh. We all thought you were stuck. Cadence called up. We are not as corpulent as our sister, we do not get. Luna wiggled, pushing against the tree branches, trying to back out of the tree and failing. Bugger all, we are stuck. Curse this modern age's sugar content. Woof. Ross suggested, putting his back to the tree trunk and his rear paws on Luna's barrel. A push? Wait, what are thou doing? No, wait. Aiiiiee. Luna flailed as she was shoved out of the tree. She did what to most would seem like a graceful half flip in the air before landing on all four hooves, the impact jarring her to the core. I think you need to open your wings, Auntie Luna. If you were planning to fly, I mean. Cadence smirked. Yes, well, it was a short drop, nothing we couldn't manage. Luna snorted, shaking out her hooves one at a time. The guards placed the ladder and Ross climbed down it, grumbling a little, but there was a small smirk on his face. Luna, however, had turned her attention to the guards around her, considering her options. She would not move Shining Armor even if she could. He likely would not understand Ross's issue when he had much the same mindset. It would need to be one of her own. There would be too much paperwork if she attempted it with one of the 42nd. Speed was needed here. Major Trail. Luna stated, taking note of the thestral. The stallion in question quickly stood at attention and saluted. Yes, Princess. Comet Trail responded, her tone making him and the rest of the decaf brigade snap to attention. Something was up. She had her princess tone going. We have a new assignment for thee. Thou are to take over the guard post here in Ponyville and keep watch over the town. Thou will still report to us first. There are other parts to this assignment, but for now we wish for someone we trust to be here. Tia is getting rather annoyed at all the time that we spend here ourselves. Comet Trail winced at the order, though he nodded. The other guards around him looked on to the major with varying stages of pity. Yes, Princess. You are not pleased with this? Luna questioned curiously. You may speak freely on it. No offense, Princess, but this town isn't exactly any pony's choice of assignments. The garrison's too small and old to host any sizable guard presence beyond a mild police complement. It's underfunded and understaffed, which means the workload is massive. The place is under monster or crisis alerts at least once a week. Also, the insurance here is through the roof. And most importantly, there's also nothing really interesting to do out here on weekend leaves, and a few hours by train back to Canterlot with hotel costs isn't cheap. Comet Trail complained. Luna tilted her head as she considered that. A town with that description was oft considered a punishment detail in her time. Lots of work with little chance of relief, but out of all her new guards she trusted the major of them the most, and she wished him to be here. More bits for the work wouldn't be much an incentive with nothing to spend them on, and the guards currently here would probably have issues with a new commander, making the assignment even more difficult. She could fix the issues with the post's funding and size, but she was asking a lot in truth. She knew he would follow her orders, but she would prefer he also enjoy the assignment, at least some. Not to interrupt Auntie, but you missed something important about Ponyville, Major. Cadence smiled. What might that be, Princess? Comet Trail questioned, looking to Cadence curiously. Just that Ponyville has the highest single mare to stallion ratio in this part of Equestria. Cadence nearly purred as the major considered. I mean, one of them already complimented your flank and you haven't even been into the town proper for long yet. The atmosphere of the orchard seemed to change considerably at that, with a few of the guards now looking more envious at the Major. Really, Comet Trail considered again. I withdraw most of my previous complaints. Just stay away from Twilight. I doubt you really want to answer to Shining Armor. Cadence added. Noted, Princess. Comet Trail swallowed hard. Ross shook his head, still smiling at Cadence's antics, though his frown returned as Luna shooed him towards her chariot to take him to his doctor's appointment. Author's note. This chapter was going to be the final chapter of Pony and Dog Show. But I decided that having a chapter that had 50% more epilogue than actual chapter might have been too much. It also shows more of Ross's mindset. This is something ingrained in all moon dogs, that the one they are bonded with needs to be protected. Ross's removal from the dream realm skewed that a little, but it's still a driving force. Sure, he has nightmares of his short time at the mercy of the Bonehounds now, but he's had worse ones of if he couldn't help the others. End author's note. End chapter 94. Pack of 1. Epilogue.